something special about it?
Do the characteristics of the Bermuda Triangle make it a unique or individual body of water? In some ways, yes. You go from Bermuda 1,000 miles southwest to Florida. You go about 1,000 miles over to Puerto Rico, and then you go back 1,000 miles north to Bermuda. That is almost a perfect isosceles triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle area, because you're right near the jet stream, and you do have extremes of weather and ocean conditions. All of these will interact with the electromagnetic field of the Earth. And so it's definitely a possibility that you have some sort of magnetic anomaly. When you think about possible reasons that people have weird experiences in the Bermuda Triangle, that could be a potential cause.
When Flight 19 disappeared in 1945, there were many theories, but none of them could completely explain the strange incidents that continue to occur in this mysterious area. Then, in 1970, a young aviator happened to fly through the Bermuda Triangle and had no choice but to face the forces that exist there. At this time, the pilot lived to tell the tale. December 4th, 1970. Pilot Bruce Gernon is flying a small plane 100 miles off the coast of Miami.
I've made several hundred flights flying in the area of the Bermuda Triangle, but this time I found myself surrounded by this strange storm. There was only one exit that I could find, and I call it a tunnel vortex, because these small puffs of clouds formed around the walls of the tunnel, and it was rotating slowly counterclockwise. And it was probably 700 feet wide when I entered it. I didn't want to do it because I've been taught not to fly through horizontal tunnels between storms. But it was so critical that I decided that I would go ahead and do it.
Bruce experienced some terrifying moments, but fortunately, he was able to make it out of the tunnel alive. But when he looked at his flight readings, he realized that his escape was even more incredible than he thought.
When I entered the tunnel vortex, my navigational instruments said that I was 100 miles east of Miami. I was in the tunnel for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. When I reached the other end, I ended up right over Miami Beach. So it only took 3 minutes and 20 seconds to fly 100 miles. So I realized right at that point that something unexplainable had just happened.
100 miles in only 3 minutes and 20 seconds? Bruce's plane would have to have been traveling 1,800 miles per hour to cross that distance in such a short amount of time, a speed that his small plane was not even remotely capable of. Does Bruce's flight suggest that the disappearances that take place within the Bermuda Triangle are the result of time and space being somehow altered?
I believe that Flight 19 experienced the same type of phenomenon of the tunnel vortex that I experienced. They didn't know their position, and so you get totally confused and end up in a graveyard spiral and crash into the sea. I was just fortunate because I didn't get confused. If someone doesn't believe what I experienced, I like to say to them, the only way to discover the limits of the possible is to go beyond them into the impossible. And that's what I did.